I was invited to a meetup and everyone were male, like men
Yeah.
there. And it was me, this short, short woman that I looked even younger back then. And I was like so introvert back then. I didn't know like what to do with myself. So I was just like, walking in circles around the room until like someone started to talk with me.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of From a Woman to a Leader. I'm your host, Limor Bergman Gross, and today I'm speaking with Tzufit Herling. Tzufit builds communities for a living. She's advised organizations and founders across the world, and she moved to Portugal 3 years ago without knowing a single person or knowing the language. And if you ever stood at the edge of a room full of people you don't know and waited for someone to talk to you, happened to me quite a lot and it's quite terrifying personally. If you work from home and wonder where your network is supposed to come from, if you know you should put yourself out there, but you're quiet and it feels impossible, this episode is for you. So let's dive right in. Hi, Tzufit, how are you?
I'm good. And you, Limor, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I know that you moved from Israel to Portugal. And we talked about it in the past. Like, how do you actually connect when you don't know anyone? Like, when you move to a different country, you don't know the language, you don't know the people. So can you share a little bit about that move and how did you build your tribe there?
Yeah, sure. So about 3 years ago, actually exactly 3 years ago, in February 2023, I decided to take the opportunity to go full-time digital nomad. I'm working mostly remotely since 2017, so it wasn't a new experience to me to go to another country or even another city to work remotely, but it was the first time that I just came to a new place without knowing anyone, and just after a few weeks I decided to move there. So I didn't even plan to move my business over there or my client. So everything was like pretty chaotic from the beginning, but like a good way. And yeah, I didn't know anyone, right? So
Yeah.
it meant that no one knew about my skills, about what I'm doing or what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. So,
Yeah.
and what I did from the very first days in Portugal, I just looked for meetups, and whenever I went for meetups, I talked to the people and asked them, okay, this is what interests me. Where should I go? Where should I be? Do you know about interesting events, both professionally and personally? Because I have a
Yeah.
lot of hobbies, and sometimes this, sometimes you find your colleagues or like your future collaborators through people that are actually hiking with you or going for like a quest or any other hobby that you have, or running or any sports. So I just started to go to meetups and I started getting to know the people. And it was at the beginning it was slowly for me because I was more observing about the Lisbon and Portugal tech ecosystem, but there are a lot of international people that are coming. So it was more like, okay, what's going on in the communities? What's going on in the tech ecosystem? I didn't even plan to make business or collaborate with people over there. And I think that's actually something which is more humble to do and something which I always suggest to other people, even if it's in your own city and you're going to meetups or you're building your network there. It's always good like to come and observe like what people are doing, what people are looking for. So this is what I did in the beginning, and then like slowly I was building my network and also like building my confidence around the new place. So, a few months later, after I came to Portugal, I joined a startup with a few people again that I don't know. We were working on the startup both with people that live in Lisbon and both abroad. So it was kind of like, again, working hybridly and getting to know like what's going on in Portugal. And since I knew what's going on in the tech ecosystem, because I already knew the ecosystem, I knew the WhatsApp groups, I knew the people there, I got really connecting with them again, like as colleagues, as friends. I found an opportunity to participate in a community leader academy by Techstars, like 2 days of academy for tech community leaders and ecosystem builders in Portugal. It was in Porto. It was as a part of a 2 days summit in Porto. And it was amazing, right? Because I wouldn't have received this opportunity if I wouldn't have know about like the people, or like which WhatsApp group should I join, or which people I should be in touch with. So, and that was amazing, because I met a lot of people like from all over the Portugal, which until now they're really good colleagues. And I think like my take from that first, not being afraid. A lot of people think that I'm actually an extrovert, but I'm very introvert. I used to be really, really introvert in the past, and with the time, I kind of like, okay, I have to go out there, right? Especially in a new place, but it's not easy, right? Again, because nobody can introduce me, nobody know about me. I have this weird accent, right, that I cannot get rid of it. In real life, I even like, I look young, even though I'm not that young anymore. So, all of this together, it's kind of like, I always say that if I can do that, anyone else can do that. And it's just kind of like just putting myself out there, getting out of the comfort zone, reminding myself, okay, why am I doing this? And I'm doing that, okay, because I know I want to meet interesting people. I want to know about what's going on in the tech ecosystem. I want to learn. I want to grow, and of course collaborate with people. So since then I've been, 3 years passed, and I was delivering workshop in Portugal, like in person and online. I have a lot of contacts like all around in Portugal.
And you mentioned like you're introverted, which I very much relate to. So how do you do that? Like, tell us with the process of like, okay, you want to build connections. How do you actually go about and do that?
Whenever I want to create a connection, so first I want to understand, okay, why am I doing that? What is my goal? Who do I want to meet? And then understand, okay, where are these people gonna be? Right? So for example, if I am a product marketing manager, or if I'm an engineer, it's kind of different, right? So I want to find these communities that are relevant for me. So usually what I do is first like a combination of searching with people that I already know, because it's kind of the easier, hey, like, even if it's a very long shot, right? Like, oh, any chance that like any community in Portugal, in Lisbon, or even in the US that are relevant for me. Of course, like posting in social media, whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram or any other social media that and also look for where the people are in. So asking AI, like asking chat, hey, can you recommend like these communities of product marketing engineer or women in tech, and it's all these tools are brilliant, right? So this is usually my strategy, especially if I don't know anything about it, and it helped me. And I think what really helps is just come and being authentic, like, hey, it's okay to say, I don't know, I want to learn, right? This is what I'm looking for. It's about like, okay, being open, being curious, and in the beginning, okay, not everything gonna be like the perfect match maybe, but I always believe that every person can really bring us value, and especially if we are the one that brings value first. So that's why I figure out that what I'm doing, like, I build communities, I'm part of communities, I'm a big advocate of communities, and I'm not there to take, but I believe like everyone when we come and we are really engaged in a community, we're really part when we are support each other, we are giving value, the amount of value that can be exchanged in these spaces are amazing. And it doesn't have to be in person. It can be online, it can be hybrid, it can be only in person when you meet the people.
Yeah, definitely. So how do you even prioritize it? Because there's so many, like I'm part of a lot of Slack communities and a lot of school communities. Like, how do you even prioritize your time? Because you said like being engaged, being curious, contributing from your knowledge, but there's limited amount of time in a day and so many communities out there.
That's a great question. It's actually something that I also work with that in my workshop, and that's why like we need to be very specific. Okay, like okay, how much time do we have, and what is the goal that we want to achieve? Like, what are the people, which community is relevant for me, and what exactly am I going to be there? So, for example, whether it's like, okay, I'm gonna attend every event, or if it's an online community, okay, I'm actually I have a time slot in my calendar to actively join in the community, join in this discussion. Usually start from observation and understanding what's going on in the community, and then like I decide what's the type of the engagement that I'm going to do that. So for example, in one community I can decide, okay, this community I'm just like an observer, I'm gonna reply to some discussions, gonna engage there, but in another community I can actually be the one that organize the events or being part of the team and volunteering, right? So I think like we should understand what's 1, 2, 3 communities are the most relevant for us now in the current situation of our career, right? Because it's also change.
Yeah.
For example, like when I moved to Portugal, and at the beginning I didn't plan to move at the beginning, right? So I was like here and there for like a very long time, and I had to decide at some point, okay, where am I right now? And also there are new communities through the time, so some communities are closed, some communities are new. Like I'm checking out, okay, how's like my engagement in the community? Like is the community like really I feel like I'm part of them. Do I bring value to the community? Do I feel like the people that I'm in the community are, we can be colleagues, we can be collaborators, like I can support them, they can support me. It's kind of like a build, like dating, right? Dating someone,
Yeah.
but but then in like a few people at the same time in the community.
Yeah, I think it depends also on the I guess on the subject or like the theme, how much is it top of mind for you right now? And that can change, right? I mean, so we met in a podcasting community, and I was in a different podcasting community, and I was there active for a while, and then I was not active, and you know, it comes and goes, kind of a thing. This for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's amazing that you mention it, that we actually met in the community, right? So
Yeah.
it's funny because Gal, our colleague that introduced us, so he lives in Porto, and we were connections on LinkedIn. We said, and he reached out to me with this new community of podcast, and I was like, hey, that sounds super cool. And I was like, oh, I know a lot of people that it can be relevant for them. And he was like, oh, you should check it. And our conversation was online, right? Speaking about networking online. But then I was in Porto for like another walk visit. And I told him, hey, let's meet for a coffee in person. And it's kind of amazing how like the online can turn into offline. And then I got like some value from the community without even expecting that. So I'm glad that it happened.
Yeah, and I think it's very relevant today, even more so because especially when we work remote, when you work, like you said, you're a nomad. So a lot of people, like, they're working. I also work from home, so you you're at home all the time and you don't meet people. It's kind of a way for you to connect and build your network.
True, true. And I do feel like after COVID, COVID was the peak where everyone understood the power of online communities and working remotely. And a lot of people nowadays are looking for the in-person experience. So whether it's like attending a conference or going to an in-person meetup, and not only online. Of course, like still the benefit of online communities are great, especially, we all have a lot of things going on in our life, but it's like, especially women, right? We need to balance between career and motherhood. I myself, I was a caregiver when I was, before I left Portugal. So working remotely and being able, this flexibility really helps us. So I believe that online communities, they're amazing. I'm part of like global community which operate online and in person, but I think a lot of people nowadays are looking for the in-person experience, and obviously there's no way to replace even if I know people for a while, like having that in person, like the three dimension
Definitely.
Meeting is great.
And you mentioned community consultant. Like the thing is about community that there is like a whole new specialism, right? Of people who are community managers or consultants. Tell us a little bit about what you do and what does it even mean to be a consultant?
That's a great question as well. For me, it's kind of evolved through the years because I started as a community manager. I actually started as a volunteer in a community. And then back then, like it was 8-9 years ago, I figured out there's this thing, community industry. So to the time my people reached out to me and were like, oh, can you help us build a community? And I was like, oh, okay, let's try at the beginning. So what I do nowadays is kind of three pillars, I call it. So one is actually helping companies and organizations or startups build communities. I specialized in communities of practice, professional communities, I called it. For example, if you are women in tech community, like an ecosystem communities of women in tech, that's women that work in corporate and founders and investors. And my second pillar, the consulting, is training these community leaders, because with time I understood that okay, we can start a community, we can manage a community, but how actually we can do that better, like organizing the community's activities, understanding the strategy, engaging, and with all this changes that we have, right? Like, again, COVID brought like this online experiences, and people didn't know even how to transfer. And now a lot of people like are doing it backwards to transfer the online to the in-person. So how I can facilitate and engage and like really, and also navigate between this offline and online activities. So everything in between. And because I have a lot of experience with entrepreneurs, especially early stage entrepreneurs, I also always work in this intersection of entrepreneurship and communities, like, because I believe that as a community leader, we need to be entrepreneurs, like having this entrepreneurial mindset, because many times, especially within organizations, it's a very solo, very lonely world, and we need to do a bit from everything, like a bit of marketing, a bit like of product, I called it, a bit of sales, like I need to sell my community to the stakeholders in my organization. So, and even if it's a community that I build on my own, like I need to have all the skills of entrepreneur and always create, always engage.
And that's why I didn't start it.
I
know it's a lot of work.
It's actually something like a lot of like many times when people reach out to me and said, oh, I want to start a community, or even startup, even organizations with budgets, and it's kind of like maybe I always say, yeah, of course, I'm a big advocate of a community, but you need to have time, and you need to have patience, and you need to have the
Yeah.
budget. So many times I tell them I don't think it's the right time right now to start a community.
So if someone is considering whether it's an entrepreneur or just an individual or a company, considering creating a community, what would you advise them to do? Like, what's the thought process that helps them validate the idea, whether it's a good idea, maybe not a good right timing, kind of, can you share?
Yeah. So usually it's like we like in the first conversation, I understand like what is the motivation to build a community, what the process that they have been doing so far. Have they researched? Did they start a community? Did they talk to like potential members? So
Yeah.
from the very beginning, we have like a short process to understand whether the community can be relevant and how it can benefit. Depends on what their goal. They want to attract more leads. They want to enhance the relationship with the clients or the existing users. They want it to be more educational, right? If it's alumni or even ambassadors community. And once like we are aligned with, okay, this is what they want to do, that's the goal, this is how the community is matching the business ROI or the business value, and this is what the community can bring, so we can work on like the strategy of the community and the work plan and the soft launch and the launch of the community. So everything is itself is like a small experiments, because eventually communities are about people, and that's why like we need to test it, right? Make sure that we have the team for that, the community manager, the community leaders, and the company team is aligned with that before we actually build the community. But at the same time, we can test the community, we can soft launch it, and then evolve it within time. So, if in the first steps, I think like the community is the right solution for you right now. It's kind of like let's wait, or advise them. I think like you should focus on marketing, and I have an amazing colleague that can help you if you want to. I always try to match the best solution.
Yeah, makes sense.
Like to the client. Yeah.
What's the effort to actually create a successful one? To have one and have it. What's the level of effort in that?
And it's another great question. In marketing, for example, we can do SEO, we can use paid ads, right? And we know, okay, we can see this is how many people joined our website or clicked on the button or bought our products, right? But with community, the interactions are a bit different, and it takes time because it's people. So we need to invest in the people before we are expecting to receive anything from them. So that's why I think for businesses or for any organization or startup that want to establish a community, it will take a few months until you're going to see the value. Because first we need to make sure the space is safe, the space is trustable, customers, founders, they see the value, we provide them value, whether it's like connection, whether it's like knowledge, whether it's like mentoring. For example, if it's a founder community or like ecosystem community, you're matching them with investors, and then like they will come back because they see the value. But we need to understand how to do that. So the effort, of course, is throughout the time of the community, right? But we always need to make sure we provide this value. So and that's why it's a different kind of investment. It's totally measurable. Like I always work with measurement, like to understand like how people are engaged and make sure we achieve our goals, because otherwise I don't believe there's a way to do that differently.
So kind of what I'm hearing is that it takes some time to kind of bootstrap it, right? I mean, to make people feel comfortable and that it's a safe space for them, And I'm also hearing like it, you measure like the ROI just to make sure like it's actually achieving what it should be. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also think about you, like what will make you dedicate your time to join a community and be active there. So, for example, you join the podcast community, because you can find relevant, interesting, hopefully, women leaders and different connections from all around the world, right? Like,
Yeah.
and learn about the podcast process creating and tips and marketing and everything, right? So it's all about, okay, what the other person are expecting from me to join.
Yeah. The thing for me is like nurturing community takes a lot of effort. It seems like, at least, right? You need to constantly be there. You need to constantly create engagement, because even if I joined and I had like a goal, I may be just dormant, right? Because, I joined, maybe I engaged in a post or two, and then I just forgot about it. So you constantly need to keep the light on. That's what I see, at least.
It's like dating, right? Like if I want to date, or like if I want to enhance my relationship with my partner or my friends, right? So I need to make sure like I set a meeting when I plan my week, even though I have million things to do. So it's kind of the same thing. I need to dedicate time for that. I need to dedicate time for the people. I need to be present. It's all about being present. Even if I'm joining the conversation, if I share from my knowledge, and it's amazing, right? Because I think when I started to do that, and I was like, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm yeah, I cannot ask that question, right? Especially women, we have all the time this imposter syndrome, and that's why like I like to work a lot with women, and then like it's amazing because it's come back to me. People say, it's very inspiring, or like, hey, I didn't know that, and I'm kind of like, I should go back to the basic.
I think women communities are really powerful, and I'm part of several. And also, I'm part of communities that are like in Slack, and they have a specific channel for women. So there is this space where only women connect. That is very, very powerful from what I've seen. Like, because you really can feel much more comfortable than you would in a mixed environment, mixed gender environment.
Absolutely. That's why I've been part of women communities from such a long time. I still remember, I did a lot of things in my life, but before my community journey, I studied journalism. Again, I studied a lot of things, but I studied journalism, and right after I finished my journalism diploma, I started working as a writer and editor in Forbes. And I remember that that's how I got to know the tech industry. I didn't know anything about that startup, what it is before that, but 10 years ago, maybe more. And I remember that I went into I was invited to a meetup, and everyone were male, like men there. And it was me, this short woman that I looked even younger back then, and I was like so introvert back then. I didn't know like what to do with myself, so I was just like walking in circles around the room until like someone started to talk with me, and it's amazing because I think like 11 years passed, right? And now I have more confidence. I have more strategies how to overcome this fear of so now like I know like, okay, I can come with a friend, especially like a female friend, like a woman friend that can understand, like even a colleague buddy. I can go to the host of the event and ask them like, hey, can you introduce me to someone, because I'm a community builder and I'm interested in like 1, 2, 3. But I still feel that there's something about women community that cannot replace still part of like these women communities, and because there's something that I don't know, we do differently. It's the same thing, and also because there are a lot of things, again, that we experience that are different from men experience. So that just as I encourage men to go to men's circles or talk about like men challenges, like personally, professionally, so I encourage women to find their spaces.
Definitely, and I want to encourage all the listeners that listen to us today, go and find at least one community, because that's incredible. It sounds like for you it was incredibly impactful, right? I mean, especially when you moved and you were able to create meaningful connections and actually, get opportunities that otherwise, you wouldn't have.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's all about like getting out of the comfort zone. And that's I always remind myself like, oh, maybe I don't feel that comfortable. I don't know anyone yet. And again, I'm more ambivert now than introvert, but still like, okay, why am I doing that? I want to do that because I can meet amazing people. I can meet people that are doing the same work that I'm doing. And it's crazy because eventually everyone feels the same, like, oh, we don't feel that comfortable,
Yeah.
especially in new places.
Thank you so much, David. It's been a pleasure. Anything else you want to share that we haven't talked about?
Probably there are a lot of things I can talk. So being interviewed and not being the one that listen is getting out of the comfort zone myself. So I try to walk the talk too. Try to think about what are you looking for? What's your goal? Where are the people that you are interested in finding, and which are the communities that are relevant for you? And just like be engaged there, getting out of your comfort zone. I know it's not easy, but it's so amazing when it is happening.
Definitely.
So I'm really I will be happy to learn from our listeners' experiences, because I think you can always learn about someone else's experience.
Definitely, and I will put your LinkedIn profile on the show notes so our listeners can reach out to you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pete. It's been a pleasure.
For you too.
Thank you so much for listening to the episode. I hope it was valuable for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcasting platform and share it with any woman who needs to hear it. And I'll see you next week. Bye.